This is May, June 2025, Biology, Paper 1. We are starting with question 1. Which of the following features is used to classify a group of organisms as class Insecta? That would be the number of segments. Which of the following options correctly identifies a niche and a habitat? So it must match for both places. The role that an organism plays in the habitat, that is the niche, and the place where an organism lives is the habitat. So A is our answer for question 2. On to number 3. Which of the following relationships may present harm to one of the organisms involved? We have commensalism, parasitism, yes, predation, yes. So we are looking at 2 and 3, that is C. Question 4. Which of the following organisms are most is in capital letters, most important in biodegradation? Bacteria, vultures, omnivores, earthworms. We know the answer is A, bacteria. Question 5 and 6 refer to the following food chain, which shows the feeding relationship in a freshwater lake. Algae eaten by larvae, eaten by eel, eaten by pike. Which of the organisms would be considered the secondary consumer in the food chain shown above? So we have the producer, the primary consumer, the eel is the secondary consumer. 5 is A. 6 refers to that same food chain. Which of the organisms would be considered the herbivore? That will be the primary consumer, the larvae. The answer for question 6 is D. Question 7. Approximately 10% of the energy stored in food is available to the next organism in a food chain because most of the energy is lost as heat during the process of respiration. Question 8. Which of the following materials are considered to be non-biodegradable? We have cloths, yes. Newspaper, yes. Sardine cans, no. Grass cuttings, yes. So our answer is C for number 8. The greatest threat to the survival of coral reef is increased ocean temperatures. Question 10. Replanting trees on a bare hillside is an example of replanting. Means there were trees before, they were removed, and now we are planting trees again. So we are going with reforestation and restoration. That's the best combinations given the answers. Item 11 refers to the following graph of a population growth. Phase 4 of the graph of population growth is most likely due to, and we see in phase 4 there is a decrease. So it is most likely due to competition from an invasive species. Question 12. When compared to a cheek cell, a muscle cell contains more mitochondria because a muscle cell requires a lot more energy. So 12, the answer is C. Question 13. Which of the following comparisons of a cell wall and cell membrane is incorrect? So we're looking for a wrong response. That will be our answer. Just take your time with this question and look carefully. Found in both plant and animal cells. That's a wrong response already. Found in animal cells only. That's a wrong response. That's found in both, a cell membrane is found in both plants and animal cells, and a cell wall is only found in plant cells. So A is our answer. Item 14 refers to the following diagram of a cell. Which of the labeled structures is responsible for controlling cellular division? In cellular division, we are talking about the nucleus. So once we identify the nucleus, which is 4, 1 is a mitochondria, 2 is chloroplast, 3 is a large vacuole, and 4 is the nucleus. So our answer is D. Item 5 refers to the following apparatus. What can be done to cause the level of solution in the Petri dish to rise after 20 minutes? So it means for the Petri dish solution to rise, liquid must leave inside the potato and enter into the Petri dish. So for that, we need to add 5 grams of salt to the distilled water in the Petri dish only. So we have a change in the concentration gradient. So that osmosis could move water from inside the potato, right here, into the Petri dish. Item 16 refers to the following table, which shows the results of a food test performed on 3 food samples, X, Y, and Z. We have violet color with sodium hydroxide and copper sulfate. That's a protein test. Blue-black precipitate with iodine. That's a starch test. Orange precipitate when heated with Benedict reagent after hydrolysis. Right? They ask you the samples X, Y, and Z most likely contain, well, we already identified that the first X is a protein, Y is a starch, and yes, Z was a non-reducing test. So A for question 16. Which of the following features would not enhance a leaf's ability to absorb solar energy? So we want to improve it, but they're asking you to not improve the leaf. Yeah? We're looking for one that will not add improvement to this absorbing sunlight. So 17, we are choosing the presence of vascular bundles. Question 18 refers to the following diagram, which represents a metabolic process carried out by plants. And we already see that based on the things going in, that this is photosynthesis, because oxygen and food is coming out. The food produced is glucose. It's photosynthesis. So the answer is B for 18. An enzyme is best defined as a molecule which increases the rate of a chemical reaction, but which remains unchanged at the end of the reaction. So C is our answer. As we move to question 20, which of the following graphs show the effect of temperatures on an enzyme-controlled reaction? And this is a popular graph. So D is our answer. We see the increase to about 40 degrees Celsius, after which denaturation starts to occur till about 60 degrees Celsius, where it stops. Item 21 refers to the following longitudinal section of a tooth. Which region of the tooth contains a large number of blood vessels and nerves? That means you are looking at the pulp cavity area, which is Roman numeral 3. So our answer is C. Item 21 refers to the following equation, which shows the oxidation of glucose in cells. This equation is respiration. The energy released from the process above is stored in high energy bonds in ATP. So 22, the answer is D. Question 23 refers to the following diagram of the respiratory system, with some structures labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which of the labeled structures represent part of the rib cage? So that will be 2. It's pointing to a rib. The answer is B. Which of the following is an effect of carbon monoxide found in cigarette smoke? They're asking for an effect of carbon monoxide. So for 24, we are going with C, reduces oxygen transport by the blood. So carbon monoxide binds to hemoglobin. Which of the following options best identifies some of the transport substances in animals? Amino acids, yes. Hormones, yes. Sucrose, no. So we are looking for 1 and 2 for 25, and that is A. The activities 1, 2, 3, and 4 listed below are involved in the clotting of blood. Fibrinogen is converted to fibrin. Blood cells are trapped. Platelets are activated. Damage to blood vessels. Which of the following correctly lists the sequence of activities? That will be the damaged blood vessels should be first, and the blood cells being trapped should be last. So straight away, D is our answer. Why is it difficult to develop a vaccine for the common cold? And it will be the antigens and the common cold virus change frequently. Item 28 refers to the following diagram of a potato plant. Which part of the plant contains the most starch? That will be 3, which is C. Under which conditions will the rate of transpiration in plants be highest? When it has plenty sun or it's sunny and high wind speeds, making 29 B. Question 30. Which of the following substances is removed during egestion? Undigested food. Question 31. Which of the following processes is not a form of excretion in plants? Substances being stored in the bark of a tree. Water vapor diffusing out through the epidermis. Carbon dioxide diffusing in through the stomata. Calcium oxalate crystals being stored in leaves during leaf fall. So we know excretion is the removal of metabolic waste from, and if carbon dioxide is diffusing in, it's not being excreted. So it is not, and remember that not is in capital letters, it is not a form of excretion. Question 32. Which of the following changes in the concentration of substances is most likely to occur in the blood of persons who suffer from kidney disease? An increase in urea. The answer is A. Notice the most likely to occur, right, from a person whose kidney is not functioning properly. One of the functions of the kidney is to help you get rid of urea through your urine. So in the person's blood, urea will build up. Question 33. Which of the following correctly describe movement in plants? Is it growth movement? Yes. Part movement? Whole body movement? Is the plant going to get up and walk? No. So we are looking at 1 and 2 only, which is B. Question 34. In humans, the skeletal system performs a variety of functions, including mastication, you mean like chewing, hormone formation, the immune response, blood cell formation, and blood cell formation, red blood cells, long bones, flat bones like the ribs, white blood cells. Yeah, so in blood cell formation, the skeletal system does perform a function. Locomotion is an evolutionary adaptation performed by animals. What advantages does the mechanism have over other types of movement that occurs in plants? The ability to move to favorable conditions, yes. Increases chances of predator attacks, no. The ability to find food, yeah. So if we go in with that, we would have to choose B for 1 and 3. Item 36 refers to the following diagrams illustrating the steps involved in an experiment. After a few days, the tallest shoot would most likely be, and if we see all of them have light, and shoot 1, the tip is covered of the shoot, and that tip is covered with foil, which means foil is opaque. It doesn't allow light to enter. That means the hormone auxin will cause the tip of the shoot to elongate, so it will get longer. Hence, it will be taller than the others. So for 36, our answer is A. 37, which of the following options best, that best is in capital letters, best describes the term stimulus and response? A detectable change in an organism's environment is the stimulus. An organism's reaction to a stimulus is the response. So our answer is D for 37. Question 38 refers to this reflex arc. Which label structure relays the impulse to an effector? The effector, this is the effector here, the muscle, and they're asking us which one relays it. So the answer would be C. Although this is not my favorite question because there's literally part of the diagram that is called a relay neuron, which is B. So that word relays, I guess they are using it in the definition that states passing on. Yeah, so we will choose C. Item 39 refers to the following diagram of a spinal reflex. We have 1, or rather we should go in order, the skin of hand. So this is a touch. So 2 is a sensory neuron. Obviously it's coming from the skin of the hand, so it's sensory. 3 will be a relay neuron, and 1 goes to a muscle. So this is the effector. So 1 will be a motor neuron. So we are looking for that, which makes the answer for 39 C. Item 40 refers to the following diagram, which shows nearsightedness in an eye. Which of the following shows how the defect can be corrected? And you want this defect, you see that the image, this spot here where the image is formed in front of the retina. You want the image to form on the retina quite a ways to the back here. So you need to use a divergent lens and bend the light outward, which makes the answer A. The statements below describe the process taking place within a seed during germination. The embryo uses food to develop the radicle and plumule. Enzymes break down proteins into amino acids. Soluble products move in to the embryo. So 41, we are going with D. That number 1, the embryo uses food to develop the radicle and plumule, is the outcome of germination. So this is the end. So straight away, the only one that has that at the end is that. Item 42 refers to the following unlabeled graph, which illustrates a measurement of growth in living organisms. Which of the following labels would be incorrect on the y-axis? The y-axis is the vertical axis, the one that runs up, down. And we have mass, length, units of time, and number of leaves. So the only one that jumps out there is units of time, which should be on the x-axis. Question 43. Which row in the following table correctly states the cause, treatment, control, and prevention of the disease AIDS? positive agent RNA virus. Already we see that for 43A is the answer, and we could just continue it. Antiretroviral drugs for treatment, monogamy and abstinence is great for prevention of the spread of HIV/AIDS. Item 44 refers to the following diagrams of flowers labeled 1 and 2 from 2 different types of plants. Which of the following statements is true for both flowers? We see 1 nice and dangly. That means we are talking about some kind of wind pollination. 2 nice large petals, which mean we're talking about some kind of animal pollination. So for 44, D is our answer. Item 45 refers to the following activities involved in the menstrual cycle. 1, repair of the uterine lining. 2, ovulation. 3, shedding of the uterine lining. Development of the Graafian follicle. So for 45, we are choosing C. We have the development of the Graafian follicle, the repair of the uterine lining, ovulation, and then shedding of the uterine lining. Item 46 refers to the following diagrams of specialized cells labeled 1 and 2. Which of the following structures is common to both cells? And that will be a nucleus. 47 refers to the following diagram of a flower. Which of the labeled parts is responsible for the production of male gametes? So instantly, when we see the anther, we know that is with respect to the male. So our answer for 47 is B. Question 48. Which of the following are used in the management of diabetes? Diet, yes. Exercise, yes. Medication, yes. So 48, we are looking for something that says all. The answer is D. A vector is defined as an organism that transmits disease organisms. 49 is A. Item 50 shows the following diagram, which shows the life cycle of a vector with the stages labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. At which stage is the vector easily controlled by the use of aerosol insecticides? And we know that is for 4, so which is the adult mosquito, and that corresponds with D for 50. 51. Which of the following description best defines a chromosome? A structure made up of DNA wrapped around histones. B for 51. Question 52. Which of the following is not, capitalized not, a characteristic of meiosis? Maintenance of the diploid number. We know meiosis actually halves the number of chromosomes. Tarzan and Jane are heterozygous for blood groups A and B respectively. Which of the following shows all the possible results of their genetic cross? If they are heterozygous for A and B respectively, it means they are OA and OB. So when we do a cross with OA and OB as the genotypes for Tarzan and Jane, we will get a possibility of having all the blood types. Question 54. Which of the following terms refers to the visible characteristics of living things? And that is phenotype. Question 55. Albinism is caused by recessive allele. 2 normal parents produce an albino child. This is because they were both heterozygous for the gene. So 55 is B. 56. One example of a sex-linked disease is color blindness. Variation in a population is due to mutation, yes. Crossing over, yes. Asexual reproduction, no. 1 and 2 is our answer, makes it A. Question 58. A group of closely related organisms that are able to interbreed and produce fertile offspring is called a species. Question 59. Which of the following descriptions is true about natural and artificial selection? So they must match. Natural selection produces great biological diversity, and artificial selection produces very different organisms from natural populations. C is our answer. Final question refers to the following diagram, which shows stages 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the production of insulin through genetic engineering. In which of the stages above can insulin be produced by the bacterium? Only at the end can this happen. So 4, and that corresponds to D, making D the final answer for this June 2025 paper 1 in biology.